Magic have had a really interesting season. Ups and downs. KCP didn't play as well as we thought. Jalen Suggs probably was playing better than we thought. He ends up going down. Paolo goes down. Franz goes down. Paolo comes back. Franz comes back. They close the year and are playing a lot better. Talk to me about this lay and why you're backing the two superstars for Orlando to score 20 and you think they win.
Yeah, so I'll start off with the props, right? Both of them have cleared this line with ease this season against the Atlanta Hawks. Franz, the fewest amount of points he's got is 22. Paolo's got 30 or more in all 3 games he's played against the Hawks as well. So that was a little bit easier. I think they're both going to see a ton of minutes in this game. It's obviously critically important to win. This isn't a one and done based on where they are in the bracket. However, you don't want to have to play an extra game before then having to maybe go play Cleveland. It's just a brutal situation, but I think that Orlando is a little bit of a better team at this point. They dealt with a number of different injuries, but they're pretty healthy now. You obviously wish they had Jalen Suggs, but at the end of the day, this is an Orlando Magic team that had some playoff expectations compared to this Atlanta Hawks team, who I know they had some commentary about, like how good are we, whatever, but they were not necessarily a great basketball team over the course of the entire season, and they've dealt with a number of injuries as well. So I like Orlando here. I think they're the better team. I think they're going to have at least 2 of the top 3 players on the court. I think that Trae Young is still probably in that top 1 or 2 discussion here. But either way, I like what Orlando has, and I think that we're going to see a lot of minutes between Franz and Paolo. And I think it's going to be tough. Dyson Daniels, as good as he is, not necessarily a great on-ball defender, and that's kind of what you need when you're playing Franz and Paolo, 2 guys that like to get into the paint, will play a physical brand of basketball, and I think they're going to really bring the intensity today against this Atlanta Hawks team. So I like the Magic on the money line and then the 20-20.
K1, what do you think? We talked a little bit about the Magic the other day. I'm a big Magic guy. In the long term, I hope they can add some scoring, and I really think they could take this whole thing to another level, especially in the East where it's extremely top heavy and they could just make a lot of noise and won't have to deal with stuff like the play-in. What do you feel about this game and JD's cap on that leg?
Yeah, pretty much, in line with Joe's takes there. I think Orlando's a better team. I like, both of those superstar players from the Magic to go over these numbers. Have them both projected for over 28, almost 29 points for Wagner, over 30 points for Paolo. And, like Joe mentioned, with the playoff atmosphere, although it isn't, a loser go home or winner go home situation, they're still going to be, expecting big time minutes for these guys. And these are players who are playing 37, 38 minutes in close games in the regular season. So obviously they're going to be, looking to have their foot on the gas at all times to win this one and avoid that, that winner go home scenario play-in game in a couple days. So I got both these guys projected for 38.5 minutes tonight, and I really wouldn't be surprised if they touch 40. So I think that's one common theme you're going to see across these play-in and playoff prop numbers. So, you look at Franz Wagner's numbers, they're pretty elevated. This 36.5 prop line across the last few weeks of the regular season. But again, we're also expecting more minutes. Also a fantastic matchup here as well against the Hawks, who are a very pace-up spot, 3rd in pace over the course of the season, while Orlando's bottom 3. So it's going to be a pace-up spot. Great matchup here for him. Like I mentioned, I'm projected for like 29 points, right around 5.5 assists, and just under 7 rebounds. So 41 PRA is where I have this number for Wagner. So I like the 36.5 over quite a bit here.
One thing Orlando has been poor at this season is just turning the ball over. They've been turning the ball over at an extremely high rate all year long. Have lacked that real ball handler outside of Franz that is there to focus, create, and just make sure the offense stays on track. Also, let me ask you this, JD. Who's going to stick Trae Young? Who is going to be that guy? Because he's had some big games against Orlando. 4 games this year, they're 2-2. Trae only played 3. And one of the games, he had 38. In the 3 games, this up really quick. Trae Young, 19, 28 points, and 38 points in those 3 matchups. That might be the only thing that worries me. Orlando comes out, starts to turn the ball over. No one to really check Trae if he starts to roll. And we know Dyson Daniels can maybe limit one of those big dogs for Orlando. That would be the only worry, just to play a little devil's advocate. What do you think about that, JD? Because we know Trae Young, he lives for moments like this, and he's had success against a Magic team that does turn the ball over.
Yeah, I mean, Trae has definitely had some success. My thing is that Trae on the season, his scoring has not really correlated with them winning. He's basically averaging a little bit under 1 point more in wins versus losses. So Trae just getting out, getting his doesn't necessarily mean that team's cooking. I really feel like the thing for Trae is when the assists are going, that's a little bit more of what gets this Atlanta offense into a flow. They have a number of different players that really can't create that well for themselves. So I think that, they need Trae to not necessarily be the scorer. They need him to, obviously contribute as a scoring threat, but also facilitate and help everybody else get into the flow of the offense. So this is a team too, in Orlando that plays at a slower pace. They play a little bit more of a slog. And I think that they're going to need a little bit more fluid ball movement and fluidity on the offensive side, beyond Trae just kind of getting his and maybe putting up 30.